My name's Kathleen Ellis. This is my first YouTube video. I'm making a gift for a friend. It's going to be a sign, and I'm going to use a checkerboard game that I got from the thrift store. Cost me $4. Has the pieces. I'm going to use those for embellishments. And here's the board. So, let's get started. I'll be using a 1-inch circle cutter, Tim Holtz Vintage Photo Distress Ink, a blending tool, homemade, some old price tags I got in a grab bag at the thrift store, and some Christmas ribbon. I printed everything up on my printer, and let's get assembling. So here I'm cutting out Before You Speak. I leave about 1/4 of an inch on the upper and bottom portion. I'm tearing the edges because I'm going to piece it together. So I tear the beginning and then the ends. You'll see in a minute. Then I'm inking. And there's the finished one. You'll notice where I tore and placed U in the middle. And now I'm going to hole punch the letters for Think that are going to fit inside the game pieces. And you'll notice that you need to leave enough room when you're doing something like this for the hole punch. So I put like 3 spaces in between each letter for that to work. And now I'm going to ink all my edges of the rest of the paper pieces that are going to go on there. I've torn the beginning and the end of those. I really like that look. It was fitting for this. And now I'm just going to lay everything out. Get all my letters in order and just make sure that everything is there. I'll be inking the circle letters also. In the blending tool that I'm using, I made, it's actually the wooden piece holder from Scrabble game. I cut them in half and then glued them back to back, and it made the perfect form for that blender. And then I ended up putting industrial Velcros on it, and I just use the Tim Holtz pads. This ribbon that I'm using is wire edged, and it just doesn't give me the look I want on this, so I'm going to end up cutting that wire edge off. And now I'm gonna grunge it up a bit. fray the edges. And later on, I'll end up taking a lighter to it just to grunge it up more. And I'm using single pieces of ribbon for the bottom part, but up at the top I'll end up using 2 pieces of ribbon so it's a bit wider. And I just continue to play with it a little bit. I decided to put eyelets in the ends of each of these pieces. My top piece, since it's considerably wider, I added 2. So here you'll notice 2 are going in each end here. And then I end up using the wire from the ribbon I cut. I end up running that through the edges with these eyelets. Just builds up the piece a little bit more. So here I go with the lighter. Just burning it here and there. And I like the effect that it gave it, because where it melted, it darkened up, and it really worked nice. I was very happy with the effect I was getting. And I'm just trying to check everything and make sure it's the way I want it. So now I'm going to add glossy accent on the back to glue the letters down to the checkerboard pieces. I also used Fantastic Glaze and Glue. I got it at the scrapbook convention and I like it. It works really well. I'm running out, so I also used the glossy accents from Ranger. Now I'm gonna use Mod Podge to glue everything down. With the ribbon here, I was testing it to see how it was going to soak into that ribbon. I like to use a thicker coat so the ribbon is saturated. So I'm just going to place all these down. And it was nice, the eyelets kind of dug into the ribbon so it held really steady. It was really easy to work with here with this Mod Podge. And then I'm just going to smooth out the Mod Podge. Get a nice even coat. This particular Mod Podge that I'm using is the Puzzle Saver, but it's all the same. It still seals it. It's just what I had on hand. Well, I should say what my daughter had on hand. And it's a matte finish. I prefer a matte finish over a gloss finish. So I was thinking I'll glue these down right now with Mod Podge, and it works just fine usually. But you'll notice in a minute I take it all up because changed my mind, and I'm going to mat those with the tags I have. So I was just adding Mod Podge to the back of those to stick them down. It was puddling, so I smoothed it out. And as I had said before, here I go. I had one piece of ribbon cut, but I'm cutting a second one. Just, it needed the fullness of two pieces. Have to play with fire. And there we go. I'm really happy with the way that came out with the two pieces. Some more Mod Podge. Just cutting off the extra on the ends. And it didn't really melt that well after I did it, but I could grunge it up. So I decided something was missing, and I ended up using the white tags. And I don't know if you can tell or not, it's a little bit difficult. On the edges of those tags, it's gold metallic, and it just brings the letters out so much more. And I really like how it worked out. So I'm just Mod Podging those down on the board. And there's little holes in the top of these tags, but they get covered up with the game pieces. I had Mod Podge everywhere, so just clean up my mess a little bit. So I ended up putting the Fantastic glaze and glue in the tops of the game pieces, just to fill them in a little bit. I would have used the glossy accents, but the bottle, the tip kept getting stuck on me. So I ended up letting those game pieces, you'll see them there on the board, sit overnight and dry. And those things that I just pulled off are sandbags that I use to weigh things down. They are the greatest tool. So now I'm going to put the finished pieces. They're all dry. Came out beautiful. Glue them down, and this is E6000. And my wonderful daughter has to step in and help me here. I hurt my arm and I can't squeeze the glue. So that's where the other pair of arms are from. Thank you, Shenandoah. So we're just going to glue those down. And there's the last piece. And there you go, Stephen. Okay, that back piece is a piece of cardboard that I added to the back of the board to give it strength. And I eyelit it both ends and ran a piece of string through it to make a hanger. I must have cut that part out. Well, thank you.